wouldn't be joining us. She has another meeting that's going on, so she wouldn't be joining. I
Yeah.
already clicked record. Record has started. So probably those who's not joining, we'll just ask them to refer to the recording. We have important things to share today, something to do with the latest Malaysian Employment Act. I will share my screen. Let me know if you can see. Hold on a moment. Yep. Can you see the screen?
Yep.
Yep.
Cool. So what happened was that our local labor law has enforced or declared a new Malaysian an update actually to our current Employment Act. This took effective from 1st of January 2023. So the few changes that would impact us as an employer and also our employees are the mandatory public holidays, maternity and so parental leaves, numbers of parental leave, minimum sick leave entitlements, and also the PIP plan. So the mandatory holidays, because it took effective on 1st of January, I sent over the email, I think mid of December to every one of you. But I'll reiterate over here what the updates are. So in the past, the holidays, like the number of holidays was 9 days. But what is new now, the minimum should be 11 days of public holidays that we are giving to our employee. And from the 11 days, 5 days is mandatory. It has to be there. And that's the 1st February Federal Territory Day, 1st May Labor Day, and then the King's Birthday is a bit tricky. It's the 1st Monday of June. So this year it falls on 5th of June, but it'll be different date, but it's going to be 1st Monday of June every year. 31st August Independence Day, and then 16th September the Malaysian Day. So what I will do, since we are recording this, I will also send this entire slide to all of you, so you do not need to take minutes. We can cover this off there. Something to note here, even though 16th of September, the Malaysian Day falls on a Saturday, that becomes a replacement leave where it's accrued and they can use it on a future date. So they can't use it now. They have to wait until 16th September has passed, and after that they can use it. They will apply for like a leave and you need to approve it. Now, since 5 of it is done, we need to choose the rest 6. So what we try to do is we try to give it equally to the Muslims, Hindu, and also the one who's celebrating Christmas, Christians, and the Chinese. So we try to make sure everyone is balanced out, and these are the 6 dates here. Uh, any holiday that falls on a Sunday automatically carry forward to the following Monday. So that becomes a public holiday for them, and this is also provided here. So like Chinese New Year that falls on Sunday, brought forward to Monday, same like the New Year and so on. Cool. Any questions before I move on to the parental leaves from here?
I do have a question, Abbas.
Sure.
So
Yep.
for the 6, that is not mandatory.
Yeah.
Are we able to get a list from our do you have a fixed 6 days from all of
Uh-huh.
the employees that you could pass to us? Because I'm assuming because they're picking it based on their religion, it's not their 6 days is not going to change every year. Because then it will just help us with our planning.
So everyone that's like everyone in Symbio, all of them gets the same 6 days. So even if it's a Muslim, they still get this Christmas, they still get the Hindu. We made it equal to everyone, so all
Okay.
of them get the same list.
Okay. So these are the dates for all
This,
Simbi. Okay. All right.
yeah, these are the dates. So
Cool.
the dates will change, but the festive will remains the same. For next year and following year.
I
Okay.
got a question. I got a question.
So Alex.
What now? What's new says is 11 days of public holidays now they're entitled, right? And you got
Yeah.
5 mandatory and you got 6 not mandatory, which adds up 11. So does it mean that they're all effectively mandatory anyway? Because that's where the sums comes from. So what is the difference between the left and the right? Is what my question is. How do we treat them
Uh,
differently?
Very good question. So example, let's say uh, we have in Malaysia, we have around 16 public holidays in our calendar. So government employee gets all the 16, and some of it it's like let me see, there's Taipusam, which is not here. That's a Hindu religious festive. So if you ask me, if this not mandatory, can I change this Deepavali to Taipusam? It's totally allowed. Instead of Christmas, can give it Easter or any other days, it's totally allowed. But if you want to change this 5, it's not allowed at all. This 5 is mandatory, has to be there.
Mm.
So our HR, they decided to give or choose this 6 compared to the rest 9 or 10 days. They choose these 6 because then it looks like it's equally distributed to all the employees regardless of their religion. Did I answer your question, Lex?
So the remaining days is 6 over there, right? So you said that in total there should be 16, right? So can you
Yeah.
share what the other 5 are so we can see, like what can be, so we can plan out how, or try to start anticipating that with the staff, like in
Yeah.
advance, how they're going to take it.
Yeah, definitely can. So every month when I send my monthly report, there is a part where I put Malaysia public holiday. And I did that for 2023 also. So if you see the December report, there's one portion that says all the public holidays. That's more than whatever that you see here, 11. So the 16 should be there. But when I send you the reports of these minutes later, I will include that, Alex, so that you have both sides.
Yeah, thank you. Like for example, like Ramadan, I don't see them here, but I'm sure that like my Muslim staff should be going to take them. I'm guessing. Right? So,
Definitely.
yeah.
Definitely. There's Prophet's birthday, there's Ramadan, there's Nuzul Al Quran. There's a lot actually. So I'll
Yeah.
give all the list for you.
Yep. Cool. Thank you.
Oh, I do have a
Yeah.
question now then.
Sure.
Because
Go on,
that
Rasha.
that falls into my original question. So what you're saying is the 6 that you've listed there is what
Yeah.
AS White have decided Symbio employees are going to be entitled to. But
Precisely.
because my question was, because I knew that there were other options, Abbas,
Yeah.
and depending on our who we're looking after, like who's
Okay.
reporting to us, they may
Mm.
pick differently to the 6. And
Mm.
I wanted to know, do you guys know which 6 each individual employees are taking, so that in Alex's point,
Mhm.
like Alex is, looking after 2 people, he knows that they may take different of the 6.
Okay. All right. So what we did, right, Rochelle, and this is a communication that has gone through to the employees. What we did is these are the 6 dates that's not mandatory, but HR has put in as our recommendation is going to be fixed. If there are other dates that you want, you should be applying leave for those dates. So what they're trying to do is, even though it's not related to your festive, you are still taking this. I think HR just wanted to make sure it's a standardized response. So not only Symbio, we have another 3
Right.
more clients that becomes 4. All 4 of our clients have the same list just to standardize it with every other employee.
Okay.
So let's say, no, this wouldn't happen in Symbio, but it happened in a different client. So let's say now an employee is reporting to Nick and he has this 6 leave. If he happens to transfer to Rebecca Kennedy, it's still going to be the same day. So she doesn't need to know, do you have a different dates, because it's fixed for everyone. Is that clear?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
what's clear to
effectively, they
me
are our
is,
mandatory leaves as well for those 6 days.
yeah, yeah, Alex. And then
Mm,
if they
That's
want
fine.
to
I'm not. I'm
take
not. I'm not objecting it. Yeah.
others,
Just good to know.
yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, what's good to know is that they need to take annual leave
Oh yeah. Of
for
Okay.
course, they
the
got a
other
lot, right?
public.
So
Yeah.
it's actually great
Okay.
Yeah.
in my
All
perspective.
right.
Yep.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. We try not to make it very obvious, but since you already bring that up, Alex and Rochelle, let's say if you ask me, Abbas, I need them to work. He's a let's say this is Chong Chinese, and then we need him to work. We need people on Deepawali. Can we ask him to work on Deepawali and replace it in another day? The answer is yes. But our HR try to not advocate that publicly because they don't want 10 people having 10 different sets of leaves, because then they need to put that into the system so that the system will calculate, will not say they are MIA, but they're on the leave. I hope that makes sense.
Yep.
Noted.
All right,
Got
cool.
it.
Cool. All right, cool. So I'll move on to the, any questions before I move on to the parental leaves? No, I'll see. So I'll move on to the maternity and paternity leave. In the past, mothers get 60 consecutive days. However, now that got increased to 98 consecutive days. This includes Saturday, Sunday, and public holidays. And they immediately get it entitled to effective 1st of January. Every mother's, I mean, if you are just giving a newborn, if you have a newborn, then you get the 98 days. For the fathers, though, for new fathers, then if you're employed more than 12 months, the new Employment Act provides with 7 consecutive days of paternity leave. But let's say if you're just employed below 12 months with the company, it's still 3 days. So you should be in the company for more than 12 months to get the 7 days of consecutive days for for the fathers only. So for the mothers, another client asked me, do they have any period? No. Let's say you hire them today and tomorrow they give birth to a child, they immediately get 98 days. Awesome. All right. I'll move on to the next one, minimum sick leave entitlement. So
Quick
in
question,
the
sorry, question.
sure,
So
sure.
going
Go
back
on,
to
go on.
maternity leave, does that
Mhm.
98 consecutive days begins at the point where the staff gave birth to the child, or can often sometimes they might take a week before when it's due
Okay.
date. So do they start at the point which the leave begin to be taken in associated to the pregnancy, or
Right.
is there anything confirmed like has to be taken after giving birth?
All right. The official answer, I'll give you two answers. So the official answer, when they give birth, there is a birth certificate of the child. It takes effective from that date.
Okay.
But let's say, Alex, there's an employee who's asking you, can I take 3 days before my
Hmm.
delivery because I'm going hometown with my parents and
Hmm.
so on? You are allowed to provide them from that day itself. As long as they send you an email and you acknowledge you approves it, then the 98 days starts from the day that the person that you approved from
Yep.
that date. I
Uh,
hope I answered the question,
yep.
correct? Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Anyone else? I'll move on to the sick leave entitlement. So the number remain the same. Sick leave and hospitalization leave is the same. So hospitalized leave is when someone gets warded, broke their leg, they'll be away for 2 weeks, something like that, something that is severe, is still 60 days. Sick leave is outpatient, maybe a migraine for a day or two, they are away and then they come to work. So what changes now is in the past it was combined 60 days, but now it has been separated. Hospitalization leave is 60 days on its own, sick leave is 14 days on its own. And this is also the same in the past. Last time, is the still the same as of now in the past. Anyone who's employed in the company for below 2 years, 14 days of sick leave from the day they are employed itself. And then anyone who's employed in the company for 2 years to 5 years is 18 days. And anyone from 5 years and beyond, sick leave goes to 22 days. So we have a joke around internally. Probably the government decided that the longer you are in the company, you need more sick leave. And that's why they decided to give this increment. And it's separated from the sick leave, from the hospitalization leave altogether. So sick leave, and then this is something our client said in Australia, if it's below 3 days, you do not need a medical cert from the doctor. I'm not sure if that applies to everyone, but for Malaysian, if you are sick, you need to see the doctor and get a medical certificate saying you are unfit to work for the day, and that needs to be submitted to be approved, to be acknowledged as a sick leave. Hospitalization leave, however, there's another report, a different report that the doctor or the hospital will print out, and there it will be stated that the person was warded for this much of days. During pandemic, they also say that we do not have beds, so they will be warded or stayed at home during this much of days. So we have a different report altogether for hospitalization leave. Cool. Any questions? This is just a summary of all the leave that the employee are entitled to. Annual leave remains the same, 11 days. Sick leave, depending on the tenure, but for the team now is still 14 days. Paternity leave, 7 days, consecutive days, if they are employed more than 12 months. I think for the team, it's still three days now, if any new fathers. Maternity leave, 98 consecutive days. Compassionate leave, 3 days. Something to elaborate over here. Compassionate leave is only its immediate family members, spouse, children, siblings, and parents. If someone asks neighbors or uncles, no, it's not considered as compassionate leave. They need to use annually for that. The last one is hospitalization leave, 60 days, excluding the sick leave. Oh, one thing I wanted to share, and thanks to Rebecca Kennedy, she emailed me asking me about the leave entitlement for this year. So all my report for last year, if you see the annual leave, it's actually accrued leave where they have to work for the month before they earn the leave. So you see the entitlement increase month by month. Now, since 2023, our HR has given them the full 11 days altogether. They can use all the leave they want in January or February or March. and then they are fully utilized for the entire year. But let's say if someone, we hope it doesn't happen, but someone resign in the month of June, then what happened is they have overused the 11 days, right? Because it should be 6, but they overused it. That becomes unpaid for them. They'll be deducted from their salary because they left middle of the month. I hope that's clear. Another one is any unused sick leave from the previous year. It gets carried forward to this year and they can use it as annual leave. So let's say last year they have 2 sick leave, they have not used it, they get to carry forward it to this year, and that becomes the annual leave. But so whatever annual leave they didn't use in the previous year, whatever sick leave they didn't use in the previous year, it gets carried forward to this year as annual leave, but it's capped at 15 days. So I can see Fergus frowning over there. You can ask your question, Fergus.
Not frowning. Yeah, thanks. I know I'm transparent. This is why I did not play poker. So when you say it caps at 15 days, is that 15 days carried forward?
Yes.
So they get their entitlement for this year, for example, plus they get up to 15 days carried forward.
Exactly, precisely, correct.
Right. Okay.
Sorry, Abbas.
Hi, Jamie. No problem.
Hi. Is that when you talk about that sick leave that they haven't taken otherwise that gets carried forward and converts to annual leave, capped at 15 days, does that make the annual leave in this example going from 11 to 15? Or is it 11 plus?
11 plus 15 becomes 26.
Whoa. So hold on. So that
Sorry,
means
did I not ask that question correctly the first time? Okay, check.
Abbas, does that mean that everyone then in Malaysia takes their sick leave, or because otherwise it becomes annual leave anyway?
So our HR, I discussed this with our HR. Of course, a lot of our clients ask the same thing. In the past, so I'm going to give you a history. In the past, everyone gets 21 days of annual leave yearly. 21 days. So what happened is there was a pattern of absenteeism that we noticed where people are using a lot of sick leave, and therefore they decided to reduce from 21 to 11 days, reduce the annual leave, and then sick leave that is not used get carried forward to the following year. So that was their strategy to ensure that whatever people don't misuse their sick leave, because now they know if they use their sick leave, that's going to be lesser the following year. Did I answer your question correctly?
I think so. But hold on. So in terms of having 26, as an example, 26 days annual leave because sick leave carried over.
So
could we put a cap on that then, or like, because you can put a cap on what? Because I just don't want it to accumulate for like, because we'd never catch up.
Right. So I'll share like the full everything. I'll be as transparent as I can, definitely. Sick leave, you get 14 days immediately the first day that you're employed in the company. So even though you join in November, you get 14 days sick leave. However, when it comes to January, you don't use the 14 days because you're new. You won't use the 14 days. In January, you don't get all the 14 days converted into annual leave because that gets prorated depending on your tenure. So that's one part. So probably the person only have one sick leave that's not from the 40 days. When carry forward, only 2 days that he can carry forward. So that 2 days become his annual leave entitlement for this year. So 11 plus 2. So let's assume everyone is employed 2023 and none of them use the sick leave. Let's talk about 2024, just for an example. Now the 14 days they have not used, plus whatever remaining annual leave. So let's say 40 days of sick leave, 10 days of annual leave they didn't use. When it gets carried forward to this year, that's 24, right? But it caps to 15. It will keep capped, the rest of it is forfeited. Now they have 15 days of carry forward leave plus the new 11 days for that year, 2024. However, whatever that they carry forward from the previous year, they need to utilize by 31st of March of the new year. That's a one,
it.
or they lose all the 15 days. All right, so that's one control. We have people who saying that's unfair, Abbas. It's their leave. Why are you forfeiting it? So what we are trying to do is, as long as before 31st of March, you have put in all the 15 days in your calendar, you can stretch it out. Like you apply for August, November, December, whatever it is, but you have utilized the 15 days, then that will not be forfeited because it's already plotted before 31st of March. Yeah. But since your first question, Rochelle, do they get 26 days? Yes, they get 26 days. That's a lot. But the control that our HR has put in place is you're not going to keep on doing this every year. Make sure by March you plot in all the 15 days so that it's already stretched out and you don't lose anything. If you don't plot in, then it gets forfeited by 31st of March. Cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Please ask questions. Definitely, I'm happy to address it. I totally understand if there's more questions on this. A lot of our clients has different reaction towards this topic, so please ask.
I am probably going to ask you. It's probably more of a question for Rochelle.
Okay.
I'm just putting my finance cap on for a minute. How are we accruing for all this?
What? Oh, what Abbas is saying is that you can't really accrue it because they need to use it at a
Correct.
specific time. But it just means for us, and I was going to wait until all of this the presentation is done. As managers, we need to have a group decision and discuss how we're going to manage it, because we obviously need to keep a close eye on sick leave and annual leave, and that we need to, for our Malaysian team, plan it on our calendars really well, because you don't want them to go, I want to take all of them in. You don't want to be in a position where you say to your employee, you can't take holidays, knowing that they'll lose it at a specific date because we can't afford to. So we just need to be very organized in terms of like I'm going to ask Rebecca Abbas to give us proper reporting every month, and especially the year, on how many sick leave has been converted to annual leave, so that we could just really do good planning at the beginning of the year, so that we're being fair on. Because we're a global company, so now we've put in a layer of different annual leaves and different uh, public holidays for all of our team everywhere. So we just need to be a bit organized with planning everybody.
And just on that part, Rochelle, so a good news is the report that you get this year onwards, you will see there a sick leave conversion
Okay,
immediately
good.
on the table. You will already know what is it they're carrying for the previous year. That's number one. Number two, we do not need to see when someone is applying for leave, it doesn't matter whether it's from previous year or current year. The first 15 automatically utilize the carry forward once first. Anything after that is the current year's entitlement.
Yep.
And then you know what, team? Actually, I'm on the same boat with all of you. I don't like this carry forward leave thinking, but it's because our HR has done certain analyses or research and so on. And that's why they come with this suggestion, and we are just following our HR. So, any other questions so far on this topic?
Is this a normal thing for Malaysian companies, Abbas? Or I'm guessing it's not legislation, right? So is it something that
not normal. From my previous employment with different company, 4-5 company, I didn't had this. The HR who did this in 2018, it was a different HR. It's not even our current HR, and she brought this thing in when we had a lot of clients complaining. The sick leave is 14 days and people are using it like there's public holiday and then next day and before, those kinds of things. Because of the pattern and they have a lot of annual leaves, they felt that 21 days is a lot. So that's why the previous HR decided to do that. But she came from a company that was practicing that, and it was success in the previous company, so she suggested that into ASY. So to answer your question, it's not common, but it was before with her company. So she decided to bring the same practice into this company, and then she left after 1 year.
Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking from like a HR perspective. People will probably be more conscious of using sick leave so they can carry it forward and then having more annual leave for the following year. Say, for example, you have say for 2024, you don't use your, say for 2023, you don't use your sick leave at all. It gets carried forward to next year. You'll have a bigger bunch. And the fact that it doesn't actually expire on 31st of March, as long as you put it into the system by the 31st of March, you're getting what, 26 days of annual leave, right? So it's a quite it's a very interesting way to do things.
Yes.
Say it nicely.
Yeah.
Totally on your side, Neil. Totally on your side on that.
Yeah, and then at Symbio managers, we just need to make sure that knowing that sick leave converts, that you're really onto logging in sick leave. Otherwise,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think that's what you mentioned, right? Annual leave, you have to use it or you'll lose it, yeah? Within a year.
Correct. You need to use it
so that can't carry over.
Sorry, Jamie. Annual leave and sick leave that is not used, they can carry forward to the following year. They can, which is capped at 15 days. They can. So let's say you have 4 sick leave and 10 days of annual leave. Since it's below 15, you get all the 14 the following year. Yeah.
Sorry, one last question. Are certain public holidays, if you wish to take them, you have to submit annual leave for?
Do not need. If it's a public holiday.
Is there a subset? I thought there may have been a subset. Just talking
this one,
right?
This one, right?
Yeah. So if there are 16 in total potential public holidays.
Okay. So anything that you see on this list, they don't need to plot in anything into their system because remember I told you HR made it a way that this one automatically captures public holiday in their
11.
profile. Yeah, this 11. The remaining 5, they have to plot in if they are taking leaves.
Right.
As annual leave.
As annual
leave. Yes, correct. Yeah. As annual leave. Yeah.
Okay.
There's another one that Rebecca Kennedy asked. Thanks a lot, Rebecca. Because of your question, I'm able to address everything over here about replacement leave. So yeah, I forgot that part. Annual leave, sick leave, and replacement leave that is not used this year. Once it's combined, it carry forward to the following year, but capped at 15. Still capped at 15. So that the 15 is the max. Replacement leave is the one that I told you earlier. If they don't use, if it's a falls on a Saturday, then it gets credited into their account as replacement leave, which they need to use it before the following year's March. Yeah. Cool.
Good to know. Yep.
Okay, I'm moving into the much more important ones or a bit technical here. In the past, so PIP is only for regular employee. Anyone under probationary, we don't put under PIP. We manage them during probationary, and then it's end of probationary or continue or confirm as a regular employee. So in the past, PIP only runs for 90 days, 3 months. What changed now is that effective this year, if we are enrolling someone under PIP, it is 6 months. Now, a lot of us doesn't like PIP to be 6 months. So what our HR did, they were able to communicate this with the local legal industrial relations team. So let's say today is 25th of January today. Let's say we have someone who we need to put under PIP, manage under PIP. If you are able to, so let's say I'm going to just choose Alex. Alex said, Abbas, I need to put this person under PIP. Today is 25th of January. I will actually go back to Alex. Alex, do you have any kind of acknowledgement from the employee where they have gone through training in October, November, and December? Any kind of training, any kinds of coachings, any kinds of one-on-one meetings, trainings, whatever it is that you were able to discuss with an employee, the employee attended the training and they replied, hi, Alex, thank you for the training. I understand. I acknowledge I completed whatever training that he has attended. And after that, if the person has issues with whatever training that you want, like wrong information shared, product knowledge error, those kinds of things, what will happen is we will consider October, November, and December as a 3 months coaching, and then PIP will run for 3 months from January, February, and March. It's still 6 months, but because Alex was able to prove he did all the coaching the previous 3 months, the PIP only run for the next 3 months. So let's say if this person raised anything to HR, HR can see, no, it's a 6 months plan, which was broken out separately. But if you are not able to provide the first step, like Abbas, I did training, but it was verbal, we do not have any acknowledgement from the employee, then it has to be 6 months from today. So February, March, April, May, June, July. Only July the PIP will end. So what we are trying to advocate to all our managers, our client is that we understand every time I go in the meeting, right, they said, Abbas, we have done the coaching, we have done the training, we have done a lot of things, but they are not able to provide us an acknowledgement from the employee. And then employee comes back and said, Abbas, I don't recall doing this 6 months ago. I don't recall my manager showing me this screenshot or whatsoever. So what we are trying to advocate to everyone, every single time you have training, coaching, discussion, one-on-one, just follow it through with an email. Hi, so-and-so, just confirming we have completed this. Let me know if you have questions. Otherwise, please acknowledge that you have completed the training. If you start practicing this now itself, down the line, if someone needs to put under PIP, you already done your 3 months. Of course, we try to tell our manager to do it monthly, twice or 3 times in a month, or at least once a month, where they have already gone through those kinds of trainings, so that it will save our time in the future if we need to manage anyone under PIP.
It's effectively the same anyway, right? If you put them into some sort of like coaching that needs the acknowledgement, I guess the staff, if they're not silly, they'll sense it, right? So why don't we be more open and frank, like, hey, that's what you're going to go through. Let's start at this time. If it takes 6 months, so be it, right? I mean, if that's what the law says.
Yes, totally agree with you, Alex.
Or
all
is there any sort of cultural sensitiveness that you can see that, I suppose, the way that you're advocating may work better? I suppose is probably what my question is.
So why this happen is because I think something has gone on, like in globally, where 2023 is going to be a tough year. There's many people is going to be redundant. People are going to be terminated for no reasons and whatsoever. I think because of that, the local employment decided that you need to do a 6 months, a longer stretch of PIP, to make sure no termination was done unnecessarily. That was part one where the HR has shared with us. Another part is, we wouldn't know someone is going to be under PIP until it's like totally a disaster. So probably the employee is fine now, which is January is fine, February is fine, and then March started having issues, April started having issue, and you can't tolerate with them anymore. If you need to do, and not everyone same thought with you, Alex. A lot of our clients feel 6 months is too long. They want a shortcut, and they want as fast fast turnover, making sure the employee knows how serious it is and start performing. So they don't want to give 6 months, they only want to give 3 months. And we tell them we can't unless you're able to give the coaching. But if you're happy to do 6 months, then that's very easy, Alex. We don't even need your acknowledgement in the past. You can start managing them from the time you report to us.
I guess the thing I just want to share with everyone, right? Just correct me if I'm wrong, but if you want to put someone in PIP, there's a chances that you probably want to manage them out anyway. So, if you put them in the process, they're unhappy about it, they're going to look for something else, so be it. Right? Now, yeah, as you can see, Rochelle is nodding, so I think she agrees with what I'm saying. So, it's a little bit slightly different. So, but yeah, if you don't want to take an approach, you really want to retain the person. Yeah, that's, I think what you said may be true. You just want to take it a little bit easier for them. Give the impression that it's easier anyway. But yeah, see your point.
Yeah. And then Alex, since you mentioned that if anyone is under PIP because they want to manage them out anyway, that's the one, or that's probably the reason why we try to tell everyone, if you do your coaching now, as long it will actually save your time, and it will actually save ASY from any legal issues moving forward. But if you're not doing it anytime now, you need to manage them 6 months. So that's a time or energy that you need to put in when you're managing them under PIP.
Yep.
Awesome. Anyone has any questions? Usually I get a lot with PIP. You can ask me anything you like. Cool. That's nothing. All right. If you have any questions, definitely you can shoot me. I'm just one email away. Let me know and I'll respond to you. The moment I get an answer, I'll respond to you. This slide is just to actually show you the point of contact. If there's anything you like to reach out to, I will still be your main point of contact. You can reach out to me. Usually when I'm away, I'll get Jolene. She's the one that's supporting my team here in Malaysia, account manager coordinator. Otherwise, the next day that I'm in, I'll respond to your email, provided the information is in me. Otherwise, I'll go to HR and take some time. I'll update you. That's all with regards to the Employment Act updates.
Thank you.
Thanks, Abbas.
Thanks, Abbas.
I do want to chat to everyone about quickly about Malaysia.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I clicked stop sharing. It decided to just kick me out. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I was just saying, Abbas, that I just wanted to chat to the team about return to work in Malaysia. So I've just had my governance meeting with AS White, and in Asia, a lot of companies have asked their employees to start going to the office because of mental health and also for cultural and togetherness and all of that stuff. Um, so they are highly recommended that we ask our employees in Malaysia to go to the office more often. I want us to be consistent. That's why I wanted to talk to everyone, like about it so that we're all saying the same things to the people that we're managing. What is common in Malaysia at the moment is that most companies have asked their employees to come back in a hybrid environment, but by hybrid, they meant 3 to 4 days per week or permanent return to the office. We obviously don't want to be that extreme, considering we don't do it in Australia or we don't do it in any of our offices. Um, so, but they do recommend that they get together more often in the office and build relationships. And I know that the 2 days a month that they go to, they actually all go to lunch together and they make a big deal out of it. So, and they're getting to know each other, and, they've got a WhatsApp chat and things like that. So I could see the benefit of it. What do you guys think? Should we start slow and say to increase our number of days in the office to 1 day a week, so 4 a month, for now, and then see how it goes and revisit it? I don't want to go straight to what everyone else is doing, and obviously we're different anyway. So, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's probably different, but I've got one guy in Malaysia who's aware that my team locally in Sydney, anyways, we're committed to 1 day a week at the moment in Sydney. We'll assess how that goes over the next 4 weeks, but he is aware. So that's my view.
So you're okay? How about everyone else? Is everyone else okay if we ask them to come in 2 extra days a month?
By the way, his proximity to the office in Malaysia is very close.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so
So
Michelle,
that helps too.
I have shared with Abbas about that. The two out of the three in Malaysia in my team, they spend more than an hour commute to office.
Yep.
So not that they don't want to, but I also feel like there's a waste of time commuting as well. You spend 2.5 hours each day just coming to office. I just couldn't sell that. You know what I mean? Like, even though that, when they were hired, they know that they may have to come to the office every now and then, but I would rather they spend the time wisely on the work that needs to be done. So, if that's a group decision, I can obviously, I won't be not sharing with them. But, I really want to sort of have this as an open conversation and see what they think first.
Hey, Alex, do they come in 2 days a month?
They are coming more than that actually recently because of the activity that we need to go through. But yeah, because of we need to come to office to do stuff.
Yep.
That's got
They
no
do.
choice, right? Yeah.
Okay.
But for things that I think we have actually just got over that steps now, where they can now sort of spend more times working remotely. So I need to have the conversation with them.
Okay. What about everyone else in their team?
Yeah, I think 1 day a week seems reasonable. It's not anything that we don't expect of our own people locally.
Yeah, same. I think 1 day a week is a good starting point, definitely. And it does, because I think a lot of our team members are very isolated in terms of the rest of the team is back in Australia or New Zealand or somewhere else. So it would be good to have a local team day on a regular basis then.
Strangely, I have no opinion on this.
Seema, Nick?
1 day a
That's
week. I
at
think.
first.
Yeah, one day for
One
me is
is
fine.
doing that 1 day a week. Yeah, she comes in 1 day a week and actually very early so that she can coordinate with our timing.
Yeah. So, like guys, I mean, obviously, we're a flexible company, so we need to make it work for everybody as well. But if we make a general rule of 1 day a week so that they get to see each other in terms of time, it needs to work for your team. So, like if it makes it easier for them to start later, like I mean, the hours doesn't matter as long as there's a few hours there that they get to see people from Symbio so that they get to sort of like build relationships would be good. And Alex, for you, like I mean, just play it by ear. Like I mean, it's really, I mean, as long as they're coming in 2 days a week is better than 2 days a month is better than nothing. But if they could, we're not going to punish them 2.5 hours drive if but let's set a standard of 1 day a week. That would be great. And what I am doing though is because I know that they go to lunch, I'm working with AS White and I'm trying to organize my budget so that at least once a month I'm giving them a budget to have this lunch and like for the togetherness bit, because that's quite common in Asia. That they get a like a, what do you call it, a best like a team bonding.
Yeah, get together lunch session, something like that.
Yeah, that's paid for by the company as part of their reward and retention strategy. AS White also said that, like some of the pushbacks that you may get from your employees would be that everything because of inflation is going up. So parking has gone up near the office, and also, of course, petrol has gone up, and public transport. AS White gives their employees 88 Malaysian currency a
Yeah.
month um of as an allowance for either working from home or like so they can sort of like be flexible to use that for the increase in parking and things like that if needed. So I'm just giving you the tools in case you get the pushback asking them to come. They get an allowance that they can use to help with the inflation cost of transport or parking. What else have I taken notes here? I think that's it. Okay. And the other thing, they have put together a pack of their learning curriculum that I'm going to be receiving. So the kind of training courses that they have available for from Coursera and LinkedIn Learning, I'm going to pass it on to you guys. Because make sure that you've included some training in your assess teams and your personal performance appraisal with them, because we're doing mid-year self-reflections at Symbio. I'd like to do exactly the same for them because we're trying to align them with our appraisal period and if we need to salary reviews and things like that. So make sure that you're using the platforms that AS White is providing so that we've got it documented. Okay, any questions? All good? Yay!
Thank you so
Alright.
much, Rochelle. So
Thank
the
you very much.
once a week effective February.
Alex, when?
I need to do my consultation first, if I can.
All right.
We'll let you know,
Right.
Rochelle and others. Yep.
All right.
All
then.
right.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you all.
Okay.
thank you.
Thanks,
That's all from me.
everyone.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks
Bye.
everyone.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you.